Poor circulation in the legs and feet is far more than a simple annoyance. It can signal deeper problems developing inside the body. When blood flow to the lower extremities becomes restricted, nerves begin to weaken, muscles tighten and cramp, feet often turn cold or numb, and tissues slowly receive less oxygen than they need to survive. Many older adults live with these symptoms every day. They are commonly advised to wear compression socks or keep their feet elevated. Those approaches may help manage discomfort, but they do not address the underlying issue itself. A major study released by the American Heart Association tracked more than 11,000 adults aged 60 and older over a 7-year period. Researchers discovered that people who regularly consumed certain antioxidant-rich fruits showed 43% lower rates of peripheral arterial disease. They also demonstrated 38% better lower limb blood velocity scores and faced a much lower likelihood of developing chronic venous insufficiency linked to ulcers, falls, and reduced independence. The difference was dramatic. It separated active movement from limited mobility. One fruit in particular stands out because it works through an entirely different biological mechanism than the others. Research suggests that adults over 75 may experience effects more than double those observed in younger individuals. The first fruit on the list is watermelon. Many overlook watermelon because it seems too ordinary. Yet this fruit contains a highly significant vascular compound known as L-citrulline. This matters especially for aging legs and feet. After the age of 65, blood vessels gradually lose flexibility. Young arteries expand and respond easily to pressure changes, much like a new garden hose. Older arteries become stiff and resistant, similar to aged rubber exposed to years of heat and sunlight. Blood flow becomes restricted as a result. This process is called arterial stiffness. It is one of the leading reasons circulation struggles to reach the feet. Watermelon, especially the white rind that most people discard, contains high concentrations of L-citrulline. Inside the body, this compound converts into L-arginine, which stimulates nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide helps blood vessels relax and widen. That allows blood to move more freely with reduced resistance. Researchers from Florida State University reported that watermelon extract lowered arterial stiffness by an average of 15% in postmenopausal women after only 6 weeks. This pathway becomes increasingly important with age because natural nitric oxide production drops by an estimated 50 to 60% after the age of 70, compared to levels seen at 30 years old. That decline may help explain cold feet, slow healing, and severe nighttime cramps. Fresh watermelon is considered the best option. Canned products and bottled varieties are less effective. The rind contains the greatest concentration of L-citrulline, so blending the white section into a smoothie may provide additional benefits. Around 2 cups of watermelon flesh daily was suggested. Combining watermelon with a small amount of black pepper may further improve absorption. Piperine found in black pepper has demonstrated the ability to increase antioxidant bioavailability by up to 35%, allowing the body to utilize more of the nutrients consumed. A 71-year-old woman named Dorothy from Tucson, Arizona, described suffering from extremely cold feet every evening. She also experienced intense leg cramps around 3 o'clock in the morning that forced her to grip the bed for relief. She had been informed that worsening circulation was simply part of aging. After adding watermelon with blended rind to her daily morning smoothie, her nighttime cramps reportedly eased within 3 weeks. By the 6th week, her husband noticed her feet felt warm again when she entered bed. She later stated that she was finally able to sleep through the night. Another fruit identified for circulation support was pomegranate. For thousands of years, pomegranate has been valued throughout Mediterranean and Middle Eastern cultures. Modern findings now suggest it may be among the most powerful natural foods for vascular health. Pomegranate contains rare polyphenols called punicalagins. These compounds are found in very few other plants. A study conducted at the University of California Reuters campus found that drinking 8 ounces of pomegranate juice each day for 1 year reduced carotid artery wall thickness by an average of 30% in participants over 60 years old. Meanwhile, individuals who did not consume pomegranate juice experienced a 9% increase in the same measurement. This matters because the same plaque buildup affecting arteries in the neck and heart also develops in the femoral artery, the popliteal artery, and the smaller vessels supplying blood to the calves and feet. Punicalagins help reduce LDL oxidation. In other words, they limit the tendency of bad cholesterol to attach and harden along artery walls. At the same time, they support nitric oxide activity, creating a dual effect on circulation. Adults over 75 may experience another advantage connected to mitochondrial function. Mitochondria are the energy-producing structures inside cells. As the body ages, these systems become less efficient. Reduced mitochondrial performance lowers energy available to leg muscles, contributing to fatigue and heaviness. Research from the École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne in Switzerland suggested that compounds in pomegranate may activate a molecule called urolithin A. This process appears to trigger removal and renewal of damaged mitochondria. The effect has been compared to removing broken machinery from a factory floor and replacing it with newer systems. Recommendations included drinking 4 to 8 ounces of pure pomegranate juice daily, or eating the seeds from half a pomegranate. Products containing added sugar were discouraged. 100% pure juice was preferred. Combining pomegranate with a small amount of olive oil may help the body absorb fat-soluble antioxidants more efficiently. The fourth fruit in this countdown grows naturally across North America, Europe, and Asia. Traditional healers have relied on it for more than 2,000 years. That fruit is the hawthorn berry. Although classified as a berry, hawthorn earned a place on this list because of its powerful effect on circulation. Research published in the Journal of Cardiovascular Pharmacology reported that hawthorn berry extract noticeably improved blood movement in patients suffering from chronic heart failure. If circulation can improve through a weakened heart, the impact on the legs becomes even more significant. The active substances inside hawthorn, including oligomeric proanthocyanidins and flavonoids, help widen peripheral blood vessels. These smaller vessels are responsible for circulation in the extremities. The compounds achieve this by blocking an enzyme known as AC, the same target used by many blood pressure medications. In effect, hawthorn acts in a way similar to pharmaceutical vasodilators, while avoiding the same side effects. For older adults, the fruit offers another important advantage. After the age of 68, many individuals develop reduced baroreceptor sensitivity. This means the body's automatic blood flow regulation system becomes slower and less responsive. The legs may signal a need for increased circulation, but the response arrives too late or remains insufficient. German clinical trials involving more than 900 participants showed that hawthorn improved this communication pathway. The body became more efficient at directing blood toward areas requiring it most, including the calves, ankles, and soles of the feet. Hawthorn may be consumed as dried berries, tea, or standardized extract. Studies involving extracts suggested daily amounts between 300 and 600 milligrams divided into 2 servings. The process requires patience. Most research observed meaningful improvements after 4 to 8 weeks of steady use. Combining hawthorn with vitamin C may strengthen the effect further. Vitamin C has been shown to extend the half-life of hawthorn flavonoids in the bloodstream, allowing the active compounds to remain effective for longer periods. A 78-year-old retired schoolteacher named Robert from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, had struggled with venous insufficiency for 6 years. By afternoon, swelling would develop in his lower legs. By dinner, he described his ankles as resembling softballs. Compression socks became part of his daily routine, yet discomfort continued. He began drinking hawthorn berry tea twice each day and added 15-minute walks after breakfast. After 2 months, swelling had decreased enough that he no longer required compression socks during the evening hours. He later explained that for the first time in years, he wore regular shoes to attend his granddaughter's recital. The third fruit on the list is the dark grape. Certain varieties stand out above the rest, especially Concord, Black Muscat, and Black Corinth grapes. Their dark skin contains large amounts of resveratrol, a compound that has fascinated scientists for decades. A Harvard Medical School study demonstrated that resveratrol activates proteins known as sirtuins, particularly SIRT1. These proteins influence vascular tone, inflammatory response, and mitochondrial formation. In simpler terms, resveratrol helps blood vessels remain youthful and flexible. It also reduces chronic inflammation that restricts circulation and encourages muscle cells to create new mitochondria to replace aging ones. For adults over 70, the inflammation aspect becomes especially important. Researchers now describe chronic low-level inflammation as inflammaging. Over time, it thickens vessel walls and narrows arteries. A study from Tufts University found that 12 weeks of consistent grape consumption reduced inflammatory markers, including interleukin-6 and C-reactive protein, by an average of 28% in adults older than 65. As inflammation decreases, arteries relax more easily. Blood moves with less resistance, allowing oxygen and nutrients to finally reach tissues in the legs and feet. 1 cup of dark grapes daily was recommended, eaten whole with the skin intact because resveratrol is concentrated there. Peeling the fruit removes much of the beneficial compound. Organic grapes were preferred whenever possible due to pesticide residue that may remain on the skin. Another option involved 4 ounces of 100% dark grape juice, though attention to sugar content remained important. Pairing dark grapes with a small piece of dark chocolate containing at least 70% cocoa may create a powerful combination. Dark chocolate contains epicatechins, which, together with resveratrol, appear to increase nitric oxide production more effectively than either alone. A 66-year-old retired nurse named Margaret from Portland, Oregon experienced burning sensations in her feet every evening. She also described her calves as feeling filled with cement after walks longer than 10 minutes. She began eating 1 cup of Concord grapes every morning along with a small square of dark chocolate. At the same time, she added short walks twice daily. After 8 weeks, she reported that the burning sensation had decreased by roughly 70%. She also completed a 45-minute walk through the Botanic Garden without stopping. According to her, it was the first time in 3 years that she truly felt like herself again. The second fruit in the countdown works through a completely different biological pathway compared to the others. That fruit is papaya. Most people recognize papaya as a tropical fruit with a sweet and musky taste. What many do not realize is that papaya contains an enzyme called papain, along with carotenoids such as beta-cryptoxanthin and lycopene. It also delivers more vitamin C per gram than many citrus fruits. What makes papaya unique for circulation is its influence on blood viscosity. Papain and specific flavonoids found in papaya have demonstrated the ability to reduce blood thickness. Blood viscosity simply refers to how thick or thin blood becomes. Thin fluids move easily through vessels, while thicker blood creates resistance and struggles to reach smaller capillaries. After the age of 75, blood often becomes more viscous because of elevated fibrinogen levels, decreased flexibility of red blood cells, and chronic mild dehydration. When blood thickens, circulation through tiny vessels in the feet and toes becomes increasingly difficult. This may contribute to numbness, tingling, and the sensation of walking on sand. Researchers at the University of Heidelberg in Germany studied the effects of papaya extract on hemorheological parameters in adults between 65 and 82 years old. Following 8 weeks of daily papaya intake, participants demonstrated a 14% reduction in whole blood viscosity, along with a 19% improvement in microcirculatory flow scores. The blood literally became thinner and more capable of reaching peripheral tissues. Papain also produced another important effect for older adults. The enzyme helped reduce systemic fibrin deposits. Fibrin is a protein involved in clotting. Fibrin plays an important role in wound repair. However, excessive fibrin circulating in the bloodstream, especially in older adults, can contribute to blockages inside the microvascular system. Papaya enzymes help break down this excess fibrin gradually and naturally. As those deposits decrease, tiny circulation pathways in the calves and feet may reopen after remaining partially restricted for years. To maximize papain activity, half of a medium papaya was recommended each morning on an empty stomach. The enzyme functions most effectively before food changes the stomach environment. Adding fresh lime juice creates an additional advantage. Research published in the International Journal of Food Sciences found that vitamin C from lime improved beta-cryptoxanthin absorption by nearly 40%. Papaya combined with lime before breakfast was presented as a simple, affordable, and research-supported routine. An 82-year-old Cuban-American man named Bernard from Miami, Florida had lived with diabetic peripheral neuropathy for 11 years. He described the sensation in his feet as if he were permanently wearing thick socks. His feet felt almost completely numb. His physician explained that circulation to his extremities had become severely impaired. Bernard's granddaughter began preparing a bowl of papaya with lime juice for him every morning. 4 weeks later, he started noticing warmth returning to his toes. At the 12-week point, he informed his doctor, who ordered another circulation evaluation. The follow-up results revealed measurable improvement in distal blood flow. According to Bernard, his doctor was extremely surprised by the findings. The number 1 fruit on this list for supporting blood flow to the legs and feet was aronia berry, also called chokeberry. This was the fruit described earlier as operating through a highly specific pathway connected directly to the aging vascular system. Researchers have referred to it as one of the most promising natural cardiovascular compounds identified during the last 2 decades. Despite its remarkable profile, aronia remains relatively unknown. It is rarely found in standard supermarkets and has never received major commercial promotion. What it does possess is the highest measured antioxidant capacity recorded among fruits tested by the USDA Agricultural Research Service. Its antioxidant levels exceeded blueberries, pomegranate, and acai. The ORAC score of aronia measured more than 16,000 units per 100 grams. By comparison, blueberries score roughly 9,000. Aronia belongs in an entirely different category. What makes it particularly valuable for aging legs and feet is its exceptionally high concentration of cyanidin-3-galactoside, a form of anthocyanin. Research conducted at the Medical University of Warsaw demonstrated that this compound directly reduced platelet aggregation. In practical terms, it prevented blood cells from sticking together unnecessarily. At the same time, it lowered inflammatory adhesion molecules along the inner walls of blood vessels. That combination helped blood move more freely while keeping artery walls smoother and less inflamed. A clinical study published in the European Journal of Nutrition followed 68 adults diagnosed with peripheral arterial disease. Their average age was 71. Participants consumed 300 milligrams of aronia berry extract each day for 6 months. The results were striking. Average ankle brachial index scores, a standard measurement used to evaluate circulation efficiency in the legs, improved by 22%. Participants also reported a 46% reduction in leg pain while walking. Inflammatory markers, especially tumor necrosis factor alpha, decreased by an average of 31%. Another mechanism separated aronia from the other fruits on this list. After the age of 75, endothelial repair capacity declines significantly. The endothelium is the thin inner lining inside blood vessels, only 1 cell thick, yet it regulates nearly every major process within the vascular system. It controls nitric oxide production. It influences inflammation. It manages clotting. It determines whether blood flows smoothly like water or slowly like heavy syrup. When endothelial tissue becomes damaged and repair weakens, the entire vascular network suffers. The legs and feet are often affected first because they exist at the farthest end of circulation. Studies from the University of Helsinki showed that anthocyanins in aronia specifically increased endothelial nitric oxide synthase activity by as much as 38% in aged endothelial cells. That enzyme is responsible for nitric oxide production within vessel walls. This means aronia does more than provide antioxidant protection. It helps aging blood vessels regain part of their natural regulatory function. In the most direct sense, it acts as a restorative tool for the vascular system itself. Aronia berries may be found in specialty health food stores, farmers markets, or online retailers. Their taste is intensely tart, so many people prefer consuming them as juice, frozen berries blended into smoothies, or standardized extract supplements. The suggested amount for raw or frozen berries was 1 cup daily. Juice recommendations ranged from 6 to 8 ounces of 100% aronia juice without added sugar. For extract form, the suggested amount was 300 milligrams daily taken with food. Pairing aronia with a source of quercetin may further improve endothelial function. Examples included 1/4 of a raw red onion or 1 cup of capers. Research showed that quercetin combined with aronia anthocyanins produced stronger vascular improvements together than either compound achieved alone. Blending raw onion with berry juice may sound unusual at first. However, when mixed with tomato and celery in a savory smoothie, the flavor becomes far more balanced. The information discussed throughout this presentation centered on far more than fruits, flavonoids, or nitric oxide pathways. At its core, it focused on independence, the ability to walk comfortably to the mailbox, to remain standing long enough to prepare a meal, to kneel down and play with grandchildren, then rise again without struggle, to travel, to dance, to move confidently through daily life without fear of pain or falling. These abilities shape quality of life. Many adults in their late 70s and early 80s have made changes after being told improvement was no longer possible. Months later, they returned with renewed energy and visible confidence because their bodies responded far better than expected. Even at 85 years old, the body still retains an extraordinary ability to adapt and recover when given proper support. Those tools exist naturally, in aronia berries, in watermelon, in dark grapes, in papaya with fresh lime during a quiet morning meal. These are not supernatural miracles. They are measurable and repeatable biological responses supported by scientific observation. People once told to simply accept decline discovered meaningful improvements in comfort, movement, and daily living. If someone you know struggles with cold feet, aching legs, swelling, numbness, or circulation problems, share this information with them. Sometimes small nutritional changes can create meaningful differences over time. Among watermelon, pomegranate, hawthorn berry, dark grapes, papaya, and aronia, one of these fruits may become the starting point for better circulation and greater mobility. Please leave your thoughts about this content in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.